What's going on, everyone? This is Jordan with Conquer Trading and Investing, and this is our upcoming weekly Forex forecast and analysis for the upcoming week of February the 10th through the 14th. It has been an exciting week of trading, and it looks like we have another exciting week ahead. Volatility is back. Pay attention. This is a really important analysis, a really important time of the week that sets the tone for the week ahead. Let's get to it and take a look together and see what we have in store. Starting off with the dollar index, the DXY is going on and just making gains. Look at this. After the breakout of our bull flag over here, we've came up, tested, and now are off to new highs. What's in store? We have resistance coming up soon at 98.5. It's been hard and fast all week. 5 days in a row of gains on the dollar. Now, is it time that it's going to take a little bit of a retrace, or does it keep on going? It's too hard to say. There's a lot of factors in play here, including the risk off tone. Dollar's been bid on it. We're going to take a look right now at other things that are being affected by this and see what they look like to give us a better idea of what's in store. We're going to start this off with gold, XAU, US dollar. The reason we're going to take a look at gold first is because with that dollar strength, we just looked at the dollar 5 days in a row of super strength. Gold also has been strong versus the strong dollar. Now, there has been a long time coming when people were foreseeing a time when we would have a strong US dollar and strong gold. Gold outperforming the dollar here. What is going on here? Let's see, just take a step back. We have this support over here at 1549, which was tested this week and held. And then not only that, price went ahead and regained the 1562 level. Gold looks bullish. What I would like to see is what's going to happen here if the dollar cools off. Is that going to help gold go ahead and take another look at the highs over here? Are we going to be seeing 1600 possibly in the week ahead? Look, it's really possible if the risk off tone continues into next week, if the dollar takes a little bit of a retrace, gold could take a new look at the highs over here. It could take a look at 1600. Let's watch it going into next week. Above 1549 over here, it remains very bullish. Above 1558, it remains very, very bullish. So look for plays here on gold. Look to see if you could buy any dips. Any retraces into supports is always a good place to buy things that are trending upwards. So we have the support over here at 1563 is a good place to lean into if you get a chance early in the week. Do you see this trend line over here on gold? You see it touched over here, touched over here. Now this goes way back. This has been in play for a long time. This back to over here, this trend line. So if you are long gold, any tests of this upper end of this trend line, which is going to coincide with right around the whole number 1600, be on the lookout for that. Might be a good place to take profits. Watch how price reacts around those levels. It is possible. It is possible we break out to the upside and take on further gains. I will be updating you during the week. Watch out for those updates on gold as well as any other currency pairs. Let's take a look at Bitcoin. Bitcoin remains bid. Now, we've been all over Bitcoin ever since price was trading about 7,500. There was a lot of fear in the market. Everyone in retail started talking about how we were going down much, much lower. I put out a video and I said 6,500 should be the low that we see. I got it almost, I was off about $15, right? Obviously, that was just the area. Since then, Bitcoin has been bid. Now, we do expect for the next 4 months going into May into the Bitcoin halving. There's an amazing video on this channel. If you go to the popular videos, I'll actually put it into the card right here so you could see it, and in the description below on the Bitcoin halving. Watch that video. It'll give you some really good context in what's happening over the next 4 or 5 months. And what our plan is over here is I expect Bitcoin is going to be around 11,400 going into that halving to accumulate Bitcoin. Right now, Bitcoin is definitely in a reaccumulation phase. It is bid. You're just looking to buy off supports. The last swing trade we took off Bitcoin was over here, right? This was posted on TradingView as price came back and tested this broken resistance as it held as support. Let me go ahead and start drawing this in for you over here. We got long right here, took profits in this area. And then since then, I've said It looked like Bitcoin was going to take another look at 9,400. It did that, and it's broken above. So we're looking at two areas above. We're looking at 10,350. And then we're also looking above as high as, let's see, 10,770, call it, at those two areas of the next resistance. Now, don't FOMO after Bitcoin. All right. Do not FOMO after Bitcoin. Look for any retraces into the nearest supports and just keep accumulating, buying off supports. This is not the time to be swing trading Bitcoin. We have our Forex currency pairs for that. That's where we make our money. Right now, you want to be accumulating Bitcoin and holding a position going into the next halving. That's going to pay off big time over the next 18 months. Okay, before we get into the heart of it, before we get into the FX currency pairs, I want to take a look at oil over here. This is WTI Crude Oil. We have been watching this pretty much all over it. Listen, we took out this support that we were talking about being taken out at 51, right? We are not trading below it. We came back up. We tested this area over here, held as resistance, and this looks pretty negative. As long as we're below 51, it's very negative. We got to get above 54.74 to even think about the long side right now. But here's the thing. China is absolutely at a standstill. It's just at a standstill. The demand for oil is way down. OPEC met this week. Russia did not want to go ahead and do any production cuts. There is an oversupply and lack of demand of oil right now. Expect further weakness in the oil market outside of an unforeseen event happening in the Middle East. All right, let's take a look here at the euro US dollar. We've had 5 days in a row, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of big red candles. It has been a bad week for the euro, which has just had, the dollar has had its way with it. What's going on? We took out two big support levels. We took out a big support level down at 1.09934. And then again, today we took out another support level down at 10958. What is next? We have some support down here below. Let's see. I have it at around, let's pull this right there at 1.093. Okay. If we lose that level, the next support, let's draw it in right now just so everyone's aware and what we're looking for. All right. We got some further support down at 1.08972. So that's what we're looking at. The US dollar is definitely bid. I don't know what's going to happen next week. Tuesday, Christine Lagarde, the president of the ECB, is speaking. I don't know what kind of effect she's going to have. I think this is more a dollar story right now. As far as when this bleeding is going to stop, I have no idea. We have another support down over here to lean into. And then we've got one down further. But right now, the dollar is definitely strong. It's definitely bid. It is... it's a tough train to stand in front of. We'll watch it and we'll see what happens. I don't see any play whatsoever. Obviously, you're not looking to get short down here, and you're not probably going to be buying until we come down into either this support down at 109.3 or the one below it. Those might be the next opportunities to take a look at the buy side here on the euro US dollar. All right, I do want to take a look at now at the Swiss franc Japanese yen with you. Look, this looks pretty interesting. You can see this head and shoulders pattern. The left shoulder, the head, and the right shoulder have formed. Here is the neckline. You can see it in play. Price closed right at the neckline today on Friday. Now, you do have a bit of support over here, but it appears that we could be breaking down over here. It appears if on Monday we break below this neckline, that could be a possible entry. Now, as far as playing it, you have two options, right? You could play the actual break of the trend line if we do break, and then you could go ahead as you come into this support over here, look to maybe go ahead and set your stop to break even. Now, there is a chance, of course, you never get an entry and we just bounce up on the open. The other possible play is that you do get a break here. Coming into the support, price could maybe retrace and get a retest of this break of this broken support, which should act as resistance this next line. And then if you see price resuming off of it, that could be a fantastic entry. Now, if the trade does trigger and is working out, let's see, there seems to be a lot of downside potential. It looks like we have some support down here. Let me draw it in for you. I would say it's down here at around the whole number, actually, 110. Let me draw that in as a green support. And that also looks just about where we would be looking for our target as well, for the head and shoulders pattern if it does develop. So watch this trade going into next week. It's one that I will be watching. If I'm actually taking entry, I will update you through TradingView. All right, and I'll send it to the Telegram channel. You can find both of those in the description below. If you're not yet following on TradingView on the Telegram, go ahead and just go ahead and start following there to get these updates. Let's keep going now with the pound US dollar. The British pound has taken out a very, very important support level today on Friday. You can see it over here. Now, this was resistance for 6 weeks. And then all of a sudden, when price broke out, it's come up, it tested it once, came back, tested it twice, and then since has held. Finally, it broke today. What does that mean and why did that happen? Listen, this is not so much technical in nature as that today Vice President Michael Pence said that he's not sure if England actually accepting Huawei to work with is going to be a deal breaker for any type of trade deal with the United States. This is weighing on the pound. We've been expecting and talking about it, that the fact that the trade negotiations with the EU are something that are going to be weighing on the pound all year. Expect to see a lot of volatility. Now a new piece was thrown into the puzzle, and this is the trade agreement with the US. Listen, as long as we're below this broken support today, this is new resistance, and we're very bearish, right? It looks like we might be taking a look at this support next week if that dollar strength continues. Just be aware, this is not looking technically good anymore. It seems like a test of this support over here is inevitable. We've been talking about that ever since we broke over here. And also we talked about here in our weekly Forex forecast and review, that analysis and review, that we said this was probably a sell the news type of event. And since then it definitely has been. Just careful here. There's a lot going against this pair today. It broke an important technical level, the support level. It's got unknown uncertainties as far as the United States and the trade deal. And then it has obviously the ongoing negotiations with the EU. All right. So right now I don't see a setup on this pair if you're not short. And if you're short, I think the first target you need to look at will be down into the support over here to see how price reacts. And if you break through, we got some further downside for sure. All right, let's keep this going with the US dollar, Japanese yen. All right, look at this trend line over here. This goes back 5 years right now. This trend line over here that we're taking a look at. And price took another look at it this week, looking for a breakout. The dollar's strong over here, don't forget. Now, our base case was the dollar coming up and testing the highs at 99 and a half on the US dollar index. And there's a definite bid in the dollar. On Friday, we saw risk off enter the market again in a big way, and the breakout was postponed. We still held above this support over here. Now, if we do get a break to the upside at any point, this is a trade I'll be interested in taking to the upside and seeing what it develops. I like taking breaks of trend lines, especially when they last for a year, or in this case, 5 years. But right now, going into the weekend, it looks like we do have some risk on. Things could escalate as far as the situation in China and worldwide with the coronavirus. Listen, this is weighing down on the Chinese GDP, and it's weighing down eventually on the world GDP. Japanese yen could hold over here. If it does hold over here, again, I think we're going to come down and we're going to take a look down at this area again as our next stop. So you do have some potential to the downside over here. That being said, there are other pairs to take advantage of. You have two strong pairs here, the US dollar and the Japanese yen. They're two very strong pairs. If we do see risk off going into Monday and into next week, as we did today, you want to take advantage of the weaker pairs, the commodity currencies, specifically the Australian dollar, New Zealand dollar, playing that versus the Japanese yen, the Swiss franc, and the US dollar. Speaking of risk off, let's take a look at the Australian dollar, Japanese yen, and you can see we had this big all of a sudden risk on earlier in the week, almost out of nowhere. And, you know, in the chat during the live streams, we were talking about how this was probably just a retrace of this really big move that we saw over the past couple of weeks. And That's exactly what happened. It held up into this resistance over here, right? And then it came off hard. And not only did it come off hard today, it's back below this trend line and back below that broken support over here, which is resistance. This looks really bad here. If we get further risk off going into Monday and early week, we're going to be testing down here for sure, testing this last local low. And there's a good chance we're able to break down below it. Watch out over here. There's no reason to be buying the Australian dollar, New Zealand dollar, Canadian dollar at this point. Reason being is that there's 150 million Chinese people right now quarantined off. Cities are at a standstill. We have Foxconn, the largest manufacturer of all of Apple, the largest manufacturer in China, does all of Apple's products. They were told today that there's just no date when they'll be returning to work. It's right now indefinitely. Things are looking very bad. Goldman Sachs came out today and they said that if the current situation rectifies itself, that we're going to see China with a GDP of about 1%. And if things do not get better, and it does not look like they're getting better, they could have a -4 GDP. Guys, this is not the time to be buying risk on pairs. This is the best barometer in Forex for risk on, risk off. And right now we're risk off. This is look like it's going from bad to worse. Be looking to buy as you're in this downtrend now. Be looking to buy, and you are in a downtrend. Look, we almost broke out over here. We tried to take the long side a couple of times on this breakout, but now we're back inside this trend line over here. It looks like we have the potential next week to break out to new lows. And if we do, we're going lower. All right. So you're looking right now on the Australian dollar, Japanese yen to continue to sell any pullbacks into strong resistances. All right. It's almost easy money. At the same time, you could pull up the true trend over here. Again, if you don't have the true trend, just go over to indicators and just search for true trend. Go ahead and add the true trend, Conquer Trading and Investing. That's our YouTube channel. Obviously, you're watching it right now. And then every time you get a pullback of the entry CCI, right? Every time you get a pullback of the entry CCI where it's pulled up against the downtrend, look then for price to resume downwards and get yourself into that trade as we're in this strong downtrend until it no longer continues. But right now, things are looking good to the downside here. Let's take a look here at the US dollar, Canadian dollar. A lot of traders want to come in here and short this. Yes, there is some resistance over here. You could see the top of this blue box where right here, this is resistance, right? And you're coming up into that resistance. Is that a place you want to sell? Well, I don't know. Dollar is pretty strong here. Oil is weighing on the Canadian dollar. You're above this support here and above this broken trend line here, right? So right now we're very bullish. The US dollar is very bullish. It's very bullish against the Australian dollar, New Zealand dollar, Canadian dollar, right? I don't think this is where you want to lean in and try to be a hero and to short this. Yeah, you might get a few pips on it, but it's not really the smart play. What is the smart play is look for a pullback while we're in an uptrend as we are now. We've broken out of this. This is a long trend line break. We've now broken out of it again. We've broken out of this one. We're above this big resistance, which is now support. Any retest back into support, look to buy, right? Or if we do break out over here without a chance to look back, wait for a pullback into this resistance and then look to buy. But right now, unless the Canadian dollar is able to go ahead and pull itself below this support and below this trend line support here, you have to be bullish on it. Don't try to take counter trend trades. Go with the trend. In uptrends, buy off strong supports, and in downtrends, sell off strong resistance. It's a much easier way to make a living. Let's take a look here at the Australian dollar, US dollar, and this looks also pretty terrible. Look, this is now turned to resistance. Let me go ahead and do that right with you right now. That should be, that broken support is now resistance, and you see the support broke right over here. It broke right there. We came down, we tested that support, and it held as resistance, right? In downtrends, sell resistance. And that was a beautiful entry. And not only that, look, you took out these spike lows over here. This looks technically very bad. Again, the Australian dollar is very much tied to the Chinese economy. Things do not look good. Do not look to be buying this pair. Look to be selling any retraces into resistance. You got a new resistance now coming into play. Let me go ahead and put that in on the chart. Let's see, right there. All right. So that's an area to look at. This is no longer support. That's resistance. We have a very ugly picture here. We're in a sharp downtrend with good reason. Look to sell any type of retraces into resistance as price resumes further downwards. All right, let's take a look here at the euro Australian dollar. Now the euro is taking a beating versus the US dollar. We all know that. But it has been strong versus other commodity currencies. First, the Canadian dollar, first the New Zealand dollar, and versus the Australian dollar. As long as you remain above this support over here, you can see it right here where my mouse is right now, right? And above where I marked this yellow line, you have to be very bullish, okay? Try to go ahead and look to buy any type of retraces into supports. The euro although it's having trouble versus the dollar, it is strong versus other commodity currencies. And if the euro is able to start retracing versus the dollar, there's a good chance that it's going to lead even further here versus the Australian dollar. So this is a play, something you want to keep on your radar. Right now, it's not set up. Right over here, you don't want to take an entry. The entry was back down here. The entry occurred a couple of days ago as we came back down into this area, this yellow line, and then resumed off of it. Right now, it looks very bullish and technically very strong, but there's no entry in play going into next week. Keep this on your watch list. Watch it. Watch for the updates through TradingView, through the Telegram channel, and if there's any new trades that develop on this pair, I will let you know. So that's it, everyone. Thank you for watching this Forex forecast for the upcoming week. I definitely enjoy preparing it for you and with you. If you have a moment, go ahead and hit that like button. It really helps the algorithm, YouTube's algorithm, know that people enjoy this content and help share it with others. It's a great way to support this channel, as well as if you're not already subscribed, do go ahead and subscribe now. We live stream every weekday, Monday through Friday, for the New York session at 9 o'clock a.m. Eastern Time. Feel free to join us. Come on in. Take a look at anything you want to look at. We're happy to go over charts. We all learn together. It's an amazing community, a fantastic bunch. All right, everyone. Have a great week. I'll talk to you later.